everybody. So my name is Megan and welcome to another episode of Creature Features. And we're here today with Little Ray's Nature Center. And I believe Kevin is somewhere on the screen. There he is. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Hi, Megan. I'm great. Thanks. Thanks for having me here again today.
Thank you again for doing this with us. I know I'm super pumped for today, and I'm excited because we're going to talk about a group of animals that not a lot of people know are related, right? It's a very special group of animals. So, or these two groups of animals are sort of related, but not very many people know what they have in common. So I'm really excited to talk about that with you today. And you have some live animals for us, right?
I do, and I brought an old friend for you too.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so before we get to the animals though, I want to remind everyone to ask us some questions. If you have fun comments, stories to share, please put them in the comments and we'll make sure to get those answered throughout our conversation today. We love questions. And also, a quick reminder for everyone to like and subscribe on all of our social media, and please go check out Little Ray's Nature Center and all of the amazing things they do on their social media channel as well. So, okay, Kevin, we are going to see some animals that belong to a group called Archosaurs, right?
Archosaurs, and then I have a quick little surprise for you,
right?
And also some animals that that existed way back then when we first started to see. When we first started to see Archosaurs. So something very, very prehistoric looking and super fun, interesting. Okay.
What's that?
Archosaurs.
Archosaurs. So let's start by describing and figuring out what that is, right?
I don't know. I don't want to give away. I don't want to give away all of it right now. Let's try to build up to it. See if people can figure out.
Okay.
What the surviving members of the Archosaurs are that still exist today.
Okay.
And if we go back in time and to talk about this, guys, we're going to talk about millions of years ago when this began, mainly at the beginning of the Triassic period.
Right.
The Mesozoic era. Okay. So the ruling the age of the dinosaurs. But before we saw that, I mean, let's go back. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. And after, I don't mean all the way back to like single-celled organisms, but when we started to see multi-celled organisms, I mean, everybody knows water is life, right? Life does not exist without water. Life begins in the water. And if we go back all the way back, around 500, almost 500 million years ago, there is a group of animals, an animal that is credited with being one of the first animals to ever come out of the water and onto the land. And that would be, let's see if this works. Scorpions. Now, I say scorpions were credited with being the first animals to come out onto the land out of the water. And I say credited because, I mean, they eat other animals. So they wouldn't have just come out of the water for no reason. They would have been coming out of the water to eat something else, not plant material. It would have been other animals. And those animals would have had to have been like very soft-bodied animals that didn't leave fossils behind. So they say scorpions are credited with being the first animals to come out of the water onto the land. But back then, now this is an African emperor scorpion, okay? Heaviest species of scorpion alive today. We can say they're the largest scorpions out there. If we go back 450 million years when these guys were crawling around on the land, they were about 3 meters. 3 meters. These are gigantically huge arachnids. And the arachnids that are alive today all most likely evolved from those giant sea scorpions dating back almost 500 million years. And
that's insane. Oh gosh. Okay, I think Kevin froze a little bit. I don't know if it's frozen for everybody, but yeah, scorpions are super cool animals. We actually have some scorpions here at Science North as well. So when we are able to open again, I hope that everyone will be able to come check them out or go visit the Little Rays Nature Centers as well. So yeah, that's really cool. I don't think I had ever considered that scorpions would have been one of the first sort of animals that were on land, and they would have been much, much larger. And I think that,
Megan,
Kevin's back. Hi.
there we go. Are you there?
I
don't know.
I can hear.
Did I lose my connection or?
You did. It's okay. I was just telling everyone that that scorpions would have been so large because there would have been more oxygen in the air. Is that correct?
Right. I mean, plants would have been bigger. Animals were bigger. The atmosphere was much more saturated with oxygen than it is today. And that's an excellent theory as to why animals were bigger back then. But then, so let's move forward in time now. That was just a little treat, little fun. Archosaurs. Okay, we started to see the Archosaur group of animals, like I said, at the beginning of the Triassic period. So going back around, let's say 245, 250 million years ago. And a big hint for everybody out there, this was the age of the dinosaurs, okay? And Archosaur basically means ruling. Hint there, and we can tell everybody now that, because we don't have any here, to what's happening, guys? Are we still there?
Yeah, you're good. You froze for like a split second, but you're good.
I'm going to tell you, the age of the dinosaurs, the ruling reptiles, Archosaurs were dinosaurs. Okay, so all the terrestrial reptiles out there, and pterosaurs, okay, the flying reptiles. So dinosaurs and pterosaurs were very different animals, okay? And there's a third group, and actually altogether there's four main groups of Archosaurs. Okay. So we know dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and crocodilians. Okay. Oh. Archosaurs include all living species of crocodilian, but also all of the extinct species of crocodilian. So I think first we'll focus on the living ones. And this guy here, this is Pickles. Pickles is you want to know why I named him Pickles?
Why?
He tastes like a pickle. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't. I'm just being silly. But this is a spectacled caiman. Now, when we talk about crocodilians, okay, crocodilians today include 6 different species of caiman. We have a couple different species, 2 different species of alligator. We have gharials in India, which is a very, very interesting species of crocodilian. And then we have all of the different species of true crocodile. And crocodiles, guys, crocodiles are found all around the globe, but along the equator. Okay, where it's hot and tropical, so like Central and South America, Africa, Southern Asia, Northern Australia. That's where you're going to find true crocodile species. I already mentioned gharials are in India. All 6 different species of caiman are only found in Central and South America. Okay, they're not found outside. And this, for all the 6 species of caiman, the spectacled caiman comes the furthest north of all of them, up into like Panama and Costa Rica even. Okay.
Is that how big they get, Kevin, or can they get bigger than the one you're holding?
Now, the spectacled caiman can get quite a bit bigger than this. They're one of the larger species, not as big as a black caiman, but still 150 pounds, 6 or 7 feet. Is a good example of a big adult spectacled caiman.
Wow.
Now, keep in mind, I mean, some crocodiles can reach 2,000 pounds. So 200 pounds is a smaller species of crocodilian. But the older crocodilian species look very, very, very much like their living ancestors today. And we're going to talk about a couple of extinct species there and the similarities there. But I'm wondering if anybody's given any thought to what the fourth member of the Archosaur family
I don't know.
And if there's any guesses, maybe say it out loud if they get the right guess, because I do have an example here that we're going to probably finish with. But back to this Crocodilians. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Megan.
That's okay. There's a couple of comments. People really love his name, Pickles. Also, somebody said, "Careful, those teeth look sharp." Can you confirm or deny that the teeth are sharp?
Teeth are incredibly sharp. I don't know how clear my camera is here.
They look pretty pointy from our vantage point.
Very, very, very sharp. And I'm holding him in a way just to keep myself safe. You can see, I mean, he is very used to being around people. Right. We wouldn't be handling him if he didn't really want to be here. If he was upset and wanted to be put down, we would just put him down. But before we move on, let's go back. And are you still with me? Am I still with you?
Yeah.
Let's go back. Since we're talking about the Triassic period, there was another group of animals that are not Archosaurs, okay, but still in the reptile family. And an old friend of yours here, I think.
Oh gosh, I'm so excited.
That Megan used to see, and this, what's his name?
His name is Ketchup.
Ketchup, and Ketchup is a red-footed tortoise.
Oh.
Okay? And turtles and tortoises, guys, like I said, they do go back to the time of the dinosaurs. They're still alive today. Today, there's about 350 different species of turtle and tortoise on the planet, and they're found all over the globe. We have several different very, very cool species of turtle right here in Ontario.
Here at Science North, Kevin, we have turtles. We have lots of different kinds of turtles. We don't have any tortoises because they're not native to Northern Ontario or Ontario. So
right.
Can you tell us quickly what the difference is between turtle and a tortoise? Of course, they're both turtles, but why do we give tortoises a special name?
I'm glad you said that, because it's okay to call them a turtle. They're all turtles, but tortoises are different from other turtles out there. And if we take a quick look at his feet, you'll see that he doesn't have webbed feet. Okay, he doesn't have flippers for feet like sea turtles have. So if I was to put him in the water, he can't really swim around the way that other turtles do, like sea turtles or terrapins. And he most definitely cannot dive underneath the water. And that's a really important way for aquatic turtles to protect themselves. They just dive in the water, they swim underneath, and they swim away. Tortoises spend their entire life on the land. So tortoises are a group of land turtles. But you know what, Megan, I think this guy's... No, Megan, are you there?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I don't know. My connection seems to... But you know what? This guy, since we're talking about kind of prehistoric animals, this guy's too cute. You want to see something that looks really prehistoric?
Yes.
Now,
I think I can speak for everyone to say, yes, we would love to see another animal. That's awesome.
Now this is something extra special, I think. Now, everybody out there is familiar with common snapping turtles. They're the heaviest reptiles in Canada. This guy here is an alligator snapping turtle. You find these guys deep down in the southern United States, and they're one of the largest freshwater turtles in the world. You can see he's got a little wiggly thing, part of his a little wiggly thing on the bottom of.
So for everyone,
with that little,
you cut out
these guys, Oh, I'm so sorry about
Okay,
this.
but we got a really good look at the little wiggly worm on his tongue because it was frozen there.
It's a lure. He fishes with it. He just sits under the water with his mouth wide open, just like this, wiggling that little worm. And then if something swims in there to get, well, I mean, they become lunch after that, right? But going back to the time of the dinosaurs in the Triassic period, turtles actually, when they began to form their shell, they actually formed their plastron before the carapace. So they formed the bottom part of the shell before the top part of their shell formed, which is super interesting to me. And their common ancestors, their ancient ancestors going back to like Triassic and Jurassic. Back then, turtles actually had teeth, like teeth in their mouth. It
so
wasn't
until teeth now.
No, now these days they have kind of, it's more like a beak, like you see on a snapping turtle, or even like a bigger beak. And there might be a little serration on the inside, but they don't have teeth like their ancestors had back in the Triassic. Unless I mean, all those spines in a sea turtle's throat aren't really teeth.
I don't think that they're actually teeth either. Now that you say that, no, I don't think they're considered teeth.
Right, to hold the jellyfish and kind of push the jellyfish back.
Yeah, he definitely.
But today,
prehistoric though, Kevin. Like you got that right on your nose.
Does he not look kind of like dinosaur-like, right?
Yeah. And snapping turtles do. Alligator snapping turtles have the spikes on their tail like a common snapping turtle does.
Oh my God, I have to see. Even he does. Cool. Okay, 3 rows of them there. Okay.
Very cool.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put him down. He's getting heavy for me.
He looks heavy.
Now,
if anyone has any questions about any of their animals or questions for Kevin, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. We would love to get those questions. And if you have a guess as to what that other group of living Archosaur is, put it in the chat as well. I'd love to see if anyone can guess what group of animals Kevin is going to show us last. Oh, I think Kevin froze a little bit there. Oh, there you are. You're back. Awesome. Oh, we might be frozen again. I'm so sorry, everyone. If you're still watching, we definitely appreciate your patience. Technical.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, there we go. We are back again.
This never happens. I don't know why it's going in and out so bad like that.
That's okay. We'll continue.
I'm going to give you guys a really big hint.
Okay.
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 For what that fourth. So we know now that Archosaurs were all dinosaurs. Okay? All of the pterosaurs, the flying reptiles, all crocodilians living today and their ancestors, their ancient ancestors, prehistoric ancestors. And then if we go back, let's say around 150 million years ago now. Okay, and I'm going to use, this might be a little bit silly, but I'm going to use the logo of a clothing brand that I'm a big fan of. Okay, and they use a fossil as their logo. Okay. And this is a very famous looking fossil. Paleontologists have found about 10 like full skeleton or almost full skeleton fossils of this Archaeopteryx, okay, the Archaeopteryx, going back around 150 million years ago. And this shows the evolution of dinosaurs that slowly started to change over time, started growing. Well, I don't want to give away too much. Started growing, because back then, guys, dinosaurs, a lot of dinosaurs had feathers, right? And feathers and scales and hair. I mean, it's all a basic building block. It's all keratin, made out of the same stuff. So to see scales become a feather is not really a big stretch at all. A feather is kind of like a long, fluffy kind of scale. That's all.
Exactly.
The Archaeopteryx is an excellent hint for what dinosaurs became, and still alive today. The one of the two last remaining members of the Archosaur family. But I'm going to go back to the Crocodilians. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring them out after. Let's bring out. Should we bring it out? Okay. Dinosaurs, pterosaurs, all crocodilians. And then, and I don't know if anybody's guessing it yet.
No one's guessed it.
No. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to pull them out. We're just going to give it away and tell everybody. And this might sound.
Oh. I can hear something.
This
Wow.
is Rucker. Okay. This is Rucker, and Rucker is a North American barn owl. Okay,
Beautiful.
Bird. It's a bird, and specifically a bird of prey. Okay, a barn owl. But that Archaeopteryx, that fossil that I showed you, kind of shows the evolution of like the dinosaurs. Kind of slowly changing. They already had feathers. They maybe started growing more feathers. Eventually, started gaining flight, flying around, and became birds that are still all over the place today. And today, I mean, there's literally thousands. I think there's about 11,000, if not more, different species of bird all around the planet, living in all different types of ecosystems and elevations. So I don't know if anybody out there remember that easy, sorry. Remember that Archosaur, okay, means ruling reptiles.
Right.
So if you look at the classification of birds or taxonomy, a lot of people do think of birds as reptiles, as flying reptiles. They're true descendants of dinosaurs. They're living dinosaurs.
And they have a lot of similarities to like some of our reptiles, especially crocodilians, right?
They have so many similarities. Very, very interesting similarities as well, and some quite complex ones there as well, but really, really simple ones. I mean, birds are covered in feathers, and crocodilians are covered in hard plates, scutes, and other reptiles with scales and that sort of thing.
Right.
But crocodilians and birds, okay, the last remaining members of the Archosaur family, crocodilians and birds both build nests.
Yeah.
Okay? That's where they both lay their hard-shelled eggs on the land.
And to compare with other reptiles, right? So like turtles and snakes, lizards, they have like a shell on their egg, but it's very leathery. It's not like a hard shell, right? So that sets them apart a little bit from other reptiles.
Yeah. When those babies hatch, okay, birds are fantastic parents. They take care of their young. They feed their young. They help them learn how to fly. When it comes to reptiles are not the best parents out there. Like a turtle will go lay 30, 40, 50 eggs, and then they're out. They never see their babies hatch. Snakes also, most snakes and lizards, they do not take care of their young. Yeah. Crocodilians, on the other hand, fantastic, well, I was going to say fantastic parents, but fantastic mothers, okay? They do protect the nest. If you ever try to get close to a crocodilian nest, you know the mother's around, and it's an extremely dangerous thing to do because those mother crocodilians would protect their babies as ferociously as our mothers would protect us.
Right.
As our mothers, human mothers, would protect their babies. They're just as ferocious. So they do take care of their young. When it comes to alligators, they've actually been known to respond to the distress call of a baby alligator 4 years after they laid those eggs. So 4 years later, they're still kind of trying to pay attention to the babies, which is absolutely incredible. So a couple more things here, guys. Birds and crocodilians, also social animals.
Right.
A lot of birds are going to be found in groups, big flocks. Same with crocodilians. They're social animals. They live in groups together. There's often one big dominant male and then some younger males and a lot of females, but they are social. And part of being social.
Kevin, we lost you a little bit.
Is connection. We just keep losing it and over. Are you with me?
Yeah, you're back.
Killing me as much as you guys. I'm so sorry. But communication. Okay, what I was saying is that part of being a social animal has a lot to do with living in groups, but also communication, and not just body language, not just physical posturing that birds and crocodilians do. Actual sounds, languages. Crocodilians, they don't have true vocal cords. They have kind of like pseudo vocal cords. They have several different vocalizations that they use to communicate with other crocodilians out there. We all know birds make beautiful sounds to communicate.
Oh, you're almost back.
Another, often looking for I don't know, like this isn't going to happen again after today. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, you're back.
But when it comes to a baby crocodilian, can you do the sound? Hey Megan, can you do the sound of a baby crocodilian calling it for
like
its
a little
mom?
baby bird? Like beep beep.
No, a baby alligator calling to his mommy.
Oh, it's like a squeak.
You can do it.
Squeak toy. It's like a. Yeah.
They do. They call their mother. The mother responds as well. They also have like big grunts and growls and
Okay. If everyone is still watching, again, I apologize. Kevin is having some connection issues, but I know I'm really excited because reptiles and birds have so much in common, or crocodiles and birds have so much in common, things that you wouldn't necessarily associate. So Kevin was just talking about the communication aspects of it, and it's so true. Like crocodilians can make so many really cool noises and different vocalizations that mean something different to other crocodilians. So different sounds mean different things. So it is very much like a language. Oh, there we go.
Accept me.
Kevin, you might have to mute one of your microphones.
Okay, never mind. I was going to try to quickly connect with my phone, which is not it's on a 5G network. So
yeah, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Megan in Science North. This is frustrating to me as it is to you guys. So
thank you for your patience.
Yeah, really, thank you guys so much, eh?
There's a quick question that I can answer. My teacher wants to know, where is Kevin from? So I'm assuming where you're broadcasting from, and that is Little Rays Nature Center in Hamilton here in Ontario. And there's another nature center in Ottawa as well. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for the few people who are still watching. Thank you so much for
my gosh.
And definitely, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. Okay, so I think we talked about communication. We talked about parental. I know last time we brought up the heart. Do we want to?
We're gonna say bye to Rucker. Okay, we're gonna say bye to Rucker, and I have another friend for you, Megan.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Another surprise friend. We always love it.
Okay.
Oh, it looks big. Oh!
Now this is Mr. Wiggles. Okay, Mr. Wiggles is a Cuvier's dwarf caiman. So out of all the different species of crocodilian in the world, the Cuvier's dwarf caiman is the smallest of them all. So I don't know if you guys can really see how big he is. He's about 5 feet, and he is full grown. They never really stop growing, but he's pretty much done. He's not going to get too much bigger than this. Now, just to kind of finish my thought about similarities with the Archosaurs, specifically between crocodilians and birds, has everything to do with their heart. So if you look at the heart of mammals, we all know that we have 4 chambers in our heart. When it comes to reptiles, snakes, lizards, turtles, tortoises, they only have 3 chambered hearts. Yeah. Okay. So the oxygenated blood mixes with the deoxygenated blood. There's nothing there to separate it, which is part of, they don't have a lot of energy normally. And I think, Megan, were we talking about the monitor lizards a few episodes ago with that muscle in the bottom of the atrium of their heart kind of divides it and kind of turns it into what they call an imperfect 4-chambered heart, but really lizards really only have a 3-chambered heart. When it comes to crocodilians and birds, they have a true 4-chambered heart.
Just like ours, right? Just
like ours. So it's not hard to imagine. A lot of people do actually, there are studies out there that say back then, the crocodilians were actually warm-blooded. So then they eventually changed and became ectothermic or cold-blooded. But super interesting is I brought up those monitor lizards about how they have that muscle that separates their 3-chambered heart into kind of a temporary 4 chambers. Well, guess what? When it comes to crocodilians, it's the opposite. They have a 4-chambered heart. Right. Okay? But when they dive underwater, their heart actually becomes what's called an imperfect 3-chambered heart. And it helps them to be able to conserve the oxygen. Wow. They can hold their breath longer and therefore, stay underwater a lot longer, which is where they do all of their hunting. So being able to stay under the water for longer periods of time is definitely a great adaptation and a great way to help them hunt down their prey coming down to the water's edge. But back to the Archosaurs, guys, the 4-chambered heart between similarity between crocodiles and birds is just something that's always been really fascinating to me. So different from the other reptiles out there, and maybe dinosaurs were. They say maybe even dinosaurs could have been warm-blooded back then if you go back to the Triassic and the Jurassic.
Yeah. Well, there is a thing called gigantotherms too, right? Where some cold-blooded animals are so big that they can control a little bit of their own body temperature. Things like tuna, right? Big fish. And so it definitely isn't hard to see how and why something like that would evolve, right? The ability to be warm-blooded at certain points in their evolution because it's probably advantageous at that point. But now as much as climate change is a thing, our climate is more or less sort of stable now compared to possibly when it was in those like millions of years ago. So they could have sort of gone back to being more cold-blooded. We have a quick question in the chat. Someone is asking what Mr. Wiggles eats.
So in the wild, they would eat small animals like snails and crustaceans, frogs, aquatic lizards, birds, even that sort of thing. Here at our facility under human care, part of his enrichment program, we do try to mix up his diet as much as we can. We're not going to feed him frogs, which I know he would love, but we're not going to feed him frogs. But we do feed him fish, we feed him chicken, and we feed him rodents. And specialized croc chow, which is made by Missouri, is all the nutrients they need, and that it's like a big dog kibble kind of. They survive on that, but who would want to just eat one thing for the rest of their life? So we feed them a variety, and when we feed them fish and rodents, it's the whole animal.
Right. So
important that he gets the bone and
the bones and everything, right? Yeah. That's awesome.
So, guys, I know I'm sure we lost some people with the terrible connection there, and I really apologize one more time. But if you guys want to think about this now, the last remaining members of the Archosaur family being crocodilians and...
Oh, no. I think I know where Kevin was going this, so definitely...
Birds.
There we go. You're back.
I pulled all my hair out over this. It's making me so stressed out. But the last remaining members of the Archosaur family, all living species of crocodilian and all species of bird. That means that an alligator or any crocodilian for that matter, guys, crocodilians are more closely related to birds than they are to other reptiles like a snake, a lizard, a turtle, or any reptile for that.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, Kevin. I think you're frozen a little bit. But yeah, crocodilians and birds are more related to each other than crocodiles are related to other reptiles. Yeah, we think of them just as reptiles. So that's really cool. Okay, I finished your thought, I think, Kevin.
Yeah, I think so. I can still hear you.
Oh, you can. Oh, awesome.
Living dinosaurs, guys. They are little birds, are living dinosaurs.
And thinking about crocodilians, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but many of them are species at risk as well, right? It's like
absolutely.
They've been on Earth for hundreds of millions of years, and yet because of human activities, more often than not, if there's any reasons that are not because of humans, I'd be surprised. But they're almost all of them are sort of some species of at risk, except for maybe alligators in the United States. So, and it's kind of interesting to think about. And then of course also many bird species as well are facing a lot of challenges due to climate change and habitat loss, pesticides. So our remaining archosaurs that are on our planet are all struggling due to human activities.
Megan, we're talking about animals that go back
Okay, you're a little bit frozen again, Kevin.
Jurassic period. The Jurassic period.
There's one more question, and I'll go ahead and answer it because I know the answer to this one. And it's: Is he in the alligator family? And caimans are part of the larger alligator group. Am I right, Kevin?
Yes. Yeah, alligator day.
Awesome. Yeah, so they have.
Hopefully, I can just finish this last thought that I was saying. We're talking about animals whose ancestors have been around for literally hundreds of millions of years, and today, I mean, almost all crocodilian species, almost all turtle species are at risk of it. Bird species are disappearing. Frogs are disappearing. Guys, I was born in 1970. In one human lifetime, I'm only 50 now, in 50 years, the planet has literally lost over half, more than half of its wildlife. We have less than half the animals today that we did the day that I was born. And we're talking about animals that have been around for millions of years. This is something that we need to focus on, something that we need to think about and continue to talk about, trying to find ways that we can to protect all living things.
Absolutely. And some like quick, like at home things that you can do. Obviously, educate yourself as much as possible about the animals that are in your own backyard. That's something that we really strive for here at Science North. And I know you have a similar message to your visitors at the Nature Center as well. And really understanding is the animals that are in our own backyards are many of them that are actually species at risk. So thinking about how you interact with wildlife and nature, you know, not picking flowers, you know, being careful of the pesticides and chemicals we use in our own properties. Obviously, reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce and reuse are probably the most important too, but please use that blue box as well. There's all kinds of things that we can do to help us, but also animals, and help mitigate some of the things that are affecting them. So I think that's a good place to end this. I feel like we kind of had a really important conservation message there at the end, and that was fantastic. But I did see a couple of people asking if you have squirrels at your center.
Squirrels?
Squirrels.
No, you guys must though.
We do, yes. So we have.
No, I wish. I love squirrels. They're so smart.
They are.
Smart, so cute. And where I'm from, I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and they have giant gray squirrels there that I don't see here in Ontario.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, I think those are all the questions that we got. And I think that I just want to say thank you so much, Kevin. And for those of you still tuning in, thank you so much for your patience and all of your questions and comments. That was fantastic. Remember to like and subscribe on Science North social media channels. This is how we're able to continue bringing you guys great things like our partnership with Little Rays today. And thank you so much, Kevin. And please don't forget to check out Little Rays Nature Centers on their social media channels as well. And yeah, I don't think that Mr. Wiggles has blinked this entire time.
He's pretty calm, eh? He's chilling. He's chilling.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin. I know I had a blast. I hope everyone learned a little bit about reptiles and how birds and reptiles are archosaurs. So good science word for today.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Science North.
Awesome. All right. I hope everyone has a fantastic day, that you're staying safe, and thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, everyone.
Bye, friends.